Hello everybody and welcome to another Transformers third-party review. In today's video, thanks to the team over at ShowZ, we're taking a look at the TR-02. This is the Transform and Rollout company. Those are the guys that brought us the MP Jazz. A review of that can be found kind of up here somewhere. This is Commander of Stars, aka a modern interpretation of Galaxy / Cybertron Optimus Prime from the Unicron trilogy. I absolutely loved Galaxy Force. I don't know, I watched Galaxy Force, then I watched Cybertron, and I preferred Galaxy Force. But we get image on the box, we get upright image, and on the back of the box here we've got the statistics for the figure. Height 25 centimeters in the original, then we've got combined mode of 28 centimeters, wing depth of 54 centimeters, vehicle length of 36 centimeters, weight is 1,168 grams, 142 movable joints, including 20 sets of plastic gears, that is 14 sets of alloy gears, articulated hands, and 10 rubber tires. Looks wise, it looks very much like what we got with the original toy, albeit they've stuck a load of silver on there, lots of articulation, and really kind of brought it up into the 21st century. We've got articulated hands here, original mode, detail on the head, and it says 5 modes. We've got the vehicle, we've got it as a jet plane, we've got it as an additionary kind of artillery mode, but I think you're either going to display it like this or like this. Let's crack him open. And here we have it out of his plastic prison. Comes in a lovely styrofoam housing to protect it. I've tried to set my white balance as spot on as I can get because it was coming up a little warm initially. Now this is a pre-production sample. It did come with some notes saying what's going to be changed for the final product. It came with its own KO kind of version of an energy key. Now these won't be included by Transform and Rollout themselves. These are actually from the distributor that's distributing in China mainland. They include these. Basically these have a magnet in them so that we can tap on the side, tap again, tap and off, and same on this back side, tap, 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 off. But yeah, it's a nice planet key, but you may or may not get one depending on who's distributing them in China at the time. There's some additional tabs on the feet that I'll cover. They're going to remove those for the final product. The note said that they make it a little bit more difficult for him to stand. They're going to get rid of them. Don't serve any real great purpose. There's a couple of latches on these arms that we have to be careful of throughout the transformation. Again, we'll cover those when we do the transformation. And you may also notice some slight color differences in some of the plastics. This was still from kind of when they were experimenting. There won't be any mismatch in color with the final product. Some of the shades of red are all ever so slightly off. It's very hard to see. Some are slightly different colors than others, but again, that's something that won't be an issue with the final product. But it's just Cybertron Prime, isn't it? Looks sensational. To give you an idea of scale, I have MP10 to hand. So it's not huge, but at the same time, it's not tiny. It's a very similar sort of scale that we've got from the likes of Fans Hobby. I actually don't have many Cybertron figures anymore. I still need to get Galvatron or their Megatron. Absolutely loved that. Few done a video again on it, didn't he, a while back, and absolutely adore the figure. It's sublime. Still need to get that. Yes, difficult to find him with his Gatling gun. Maybe Transform and Rollout will do Galvatron as well. That would be really nice. But I do have Metroplex, the modern take on Cybertron Metroplex. So I'll show you how they look when I get this guy transformed up into his bot mode. But I mean, bringing in Masterpiece RC, that's kind of a Cybertronian vehicle. It's a really good size. We've got a good mix of die cast in here. We have rubber on the tires. These wheels lift up so they don't hit the floor when you have these rear ones attached, like a real truck would. When you have these off, then these will roll on the floor, but it's a little bit of extra play on that waist. Other than that, it's a solid unit. I mean, if you flip the underside, you can see that die cast. These are the black tabs that I'm talking about. They don't really need to be there at all. The feet hold themselves brilliantly well, and they actually affect the stability because they're ever so slightly raised. So they're going to be doing away with those. They're not actually important. This will be kind of two solid pieces joined together. But that is a really nice vehicle mode. And now to disengage this back section, it's tabbed in at the top, kind of underneath the feet, and there's these additional latches underneath here. So we're going to give that a little push, and look at that. That slid out of there wonderfully. Now if we lift up these rockets, which are actually on really nice double hinges, I'll show you those clips that we're warned about. Basically, there's small hook tabs on the inside here, so you need to push this up and out. You see this hook here, look. Basically that hooks into there. They say don't pull it straight out because that's going to kind of snap that joint. So give it a little push and out like so, and that allows those to come out fully. Just something to be mindful of. I think there's a slight difference in the plastic on here. Like I said, it's very, very difficult to see, isn't it? But yeah, really nice solid pieces. While we're here, we can get him in one of his alternative modes using this clip here. That's going to peg in. It's going to come around this way, like so. That's going to come up and over. The wings are going to rotate like so. That wing's going to rotate like this, and then these should peg in on the back of those feet like this. You've got that kind of winged vehicle mode. I love how this thing looks from the front. That's a look. Now with the wings detached, we can disengage these sections as well, and we'll build up that cannon form shortly, but now we can have a proper look at him in just his kind of basic vehicle form, and you can see the sheer amount of die cast in here. So much heft to him, but the transformation is not overly dissimilar to the original. There's a slight couple of variations, but just the overall heft and feel of this, that's what separates it. Starting with the legs, we want to separate them out. They're tabbed together at 2 points, there on the foot and there on the thigh. This is going to come back, and these are basically what you're meant to flip out, and they're meant to tab in to that part of the leg, but you don't really need them. You don't need them in there. So this can come down, the toe can come around, again this can come up, this drops like so, and this can come in like this. We can just pivot that toe. Got this nice little groove here. You want to slide the wheel down because that's on a slider. It slides up into the there and down like so. This section's going to rotate on those abs, and we just straighten off those legs. God blimey, this guy is very, very secure indeed. I'm not sure about the ratchets. I would have liked smaller cogs on those, but we'll see how we get on when we tackle the rest of the articulation. Now this chest section, let's just lift this up. This needs to come down. You need to push that down like that, and then lift this up, and there we go. It brings that lower piece along with it, and these chest windows are going to rock back around and rock back around, and those are going to tab in, push, line up and sit squarely. The back section here is going to detach. These are going to separate and come around. The arm then drops like so. That comes down, and we get this flip out section on the wrists, so we can bring this tab up, the fists flip down, and then we bring that tab back in, securing everything in. Do the same for both arms. We have this tab on the back there, which allows the head to flip up. Absolutely adore the head on this. So you want to just move these shoulders upwards, because that's going to give us a little bit of extra clearance for these side wheel sections, because these are on hinges and they flip down now to form some awesome little side skirts, and a little kink at the back there allows them to be back skirts as well. This then comes up, this goes down, this sits like so. We can bring the crotch piece up into position like so. So that's starting to come together. The arms, they're going to rotate backwards and back again. You want to just pinch these in like so. Move that out, there we go, like so. This then comes up. Now if you can see what I've done with these shoulders, these are on separate hinges, so they're going to come down and they're going to kind of point upwards slightly to give them a little bit more of a dynamic look. Absolutely adore the head sculpt on that. And obviously we've got the super ears for his super mode. Gorgeous version of Prime. He looks outstanding. The silver really does make everything pop, doesn't it? If you come to the trailer, like I said, you can either have this in battle station mode, which I will show you shortly, but obviously his gun does then detach as well, and you get a pegging slot on the inside of his very nicely articulated hands. That's just going to slide in, peg in, and then we can position these fingers accordingly. Come on, in you go, that's in. Wrap these around like so, and that one goes on the trigger. And here we have him on his pedestal, looking absolutely sublime. Love how he glistens. It's definitely kind of more the Galaxy Convoy colour than he is the Cybertron Prime. Still a little bit kind of naked on the back there, I think, with everything kind of missing, with the backpack section not attached. He looks a little bit scarce. I need something to just kind of pad that out, but absolutely love it. This is a fantastic take on the Prime. I love that they've jumped on the same sort of bandwagon as Fans Hobby, doing stuff that not every other company is doing. Yes, their first figure they did was Jazz as part of the Jazz Wars, and he is my MP Jazz at the moment. Still haven't got the Fans Toys version, but it looks like Fans Toys may edge him out of the top spot, but he's still a good solid figure, so you know exactly what you're getting, and this is equally on par. This is probably one of my favorites that I've had this year. Huge soft spot for the Unicron trilogy. You know, I was born in 1984, and it was kind of the Unicron trilogy that got me back into Transformers, because obviously I watched Beast Wars in the 90s, and we had Gary Chalk continue onto that, and it was superb. I loved it. Like I said, I think that's kind of the battle station set up for the wings, etc. Yeah, that's never going to be kept like that. Here he is alongside the Fans Hobby Energon and Armada Primes in both their super modes. So for me, this is a good size figure as a base form. Here he is with TR-01 Optimus Prime and with Titan class Cybertron Metroplex. He's a big figure, isn't he? I still had mine in the box. I still hadn't taken him out. And there he is. Is there an upgrade kit for him from DNA? I'm sure there is. I think I'll have to invest in that. But yeah, he's a lot bigger than I thought he was going to be. I think these two do look good together, don't they? He's a good MP size figure. Before we get him fully combined up into his Super Robot mode, I just want to cover the articulation on him. It's very, very articulated, especially for a figure of his size. The head can look up on this neck piece and down. This section here can look up separately as well, because we have the alternative face. Watch this, ready? Oop. Bring that around, switch that down, boom. There we go, there is Mouth Prime. Absolutely love it, absolutely love it. We've got the super mode helmet section, which can open up, left and right on there. Just love that up and down there. It's all different hinges there. We've got rotation, ratchets out. Now, those of you that are eagle-eyed will have noticed that mine's actually misassembled. Your elbow is meant to be around this way, like so. This is meant to be over on this side, so these are put in the wrong side on this joint. We get waist rotation. The hip skirts can just flip up, allowing for full range of motion. We've got forwards and backwards there as well. Really nice, strong ratchets on these legs. There's an upper thigh rotation in there. That sounds like a ratchet as well. Abdominal crunch, not the hugest of crunches, to kind of move the chest and the crotch to accommodate for it, but it's a crunch nonetheless. And we get nice deep bends on those knees. Again, not one but 2 points, so you can really kind of bend that in half, and it shows just how much die cast this thing has. I'm so glad we've got an upper thigh rotation though. We've got pivot on the ankles and some up and down on those toes. Aha! And just by magic, look at that, we've got double jointed elbow the right way round. This metal piece here is basically a completely hollow cylindrical tube on the inside there, so thankfully there was no kind of reused parts. The left is completely different to the right, so that was very helpful indeed. But then again, sometimes when you do get these early samples, there are issues, and there's stuff that gets ironed out for production, isn't it? So right, for the purpose of his combined form, you want to bring this down. This is going to come down. This is going to flip all the way around to the bottom of his foot, and that should, he says, tab in underneath like so. And then there's a tab just underneath the actual foot plate, which allows this to go back on. Now you're going to have to slide these wheels back in. Do this for both sides, so let's bring this one round, flip that one up, and you see here, look, this is where these tab in on here, so this comes over, that's there, those are on, and the wheels go back in. It gives him kind of a very long, lanky legs, but in return we can bring these extra panels in, and normally the guns are kind of on the back here, but they do rotate around on the back sections of these legs. Oh, there we go, that's on there like so, that's on there. That's tabbed in there nicely. And again on this side, pushes in, really nice. And securely bulking up those legs, and you've got to tilt what was initially just the toe. You can now use that all, and you get a really nice flat solid base for the rest of that bot mode. If you find these videos useful, why not head over to Shozy using the link in the description below. You make that purchase, head up to the top of the page on the support your favorite reviewer tab and type in Bens. That'll help support this channel and keep these reviews coming. We're going to bring our backpack in. This is going to rotate around so that these handles can drop down to the base, and these shoulder tabs are going to come up, and those are going to fully extend, and you see these pieces here, those are going to latch in to the back. Now I've seen some people try and force this over and stretch the plastic. I find if you just slide these arms out, then you can just slide this section back in, and basically you've got very little in the way of needing to flex this at all. So bring that back in, this just lifts up as that slides, and that sits over, covering that section off, and that's all pushed, locked and secured. In the back there we have the handles that lift up. We're going to locate those in the hands, and we're going to bring in the gun as well. That can split, sit in there like so. And same with this side, this is going to have a handle which can pop up and attach, and with this one we have this splitting section which lifts up and lifts up, and here we have him fully combined up into his super form. Absolutely adore him, looks splendid. Yeah, I know you can have the guns flipped up behind his shoulders as well. There's different variations, but I like that kind of underarm gun vibe going on. I need to pull the trigger section down on that secondary gun as well. The good thing is when you have the LEDs on static, they do time out. They turn themselves off after a certain period of time. When they're on flash, they just continue to flash. They just keep on going. See, I turned red on first, so blue should time out next, but oh, absolutely adore how good he looks. Big chunk of a Superbot, and I am really holding out hope that we're going to get some add-ons and more from Cybertron. Could do with a certain lion that turns into an arm, and a certain sabery jet person that turns into a really cool super backpack. That would be absolutely sublime, wouldn't it? Just such an imposing look. Here's the trilogy of figures all together. Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. Big difference between them all. Obviously Prime comes with all of that die cast, very kind of different plastic consistency as well. Not a bad plastic consistency by any means. They're really nicely made, very very high end, just superb. Absolutely adore it. Just some other random desk bots that I had laying around as well. See, now he absolutely towers over TE Prime, and he's got RC with him in her bot mode as well. Absolutely adore what they've done. I switched it out for the masked head as well. I think the unmasked is his standard form. I love these kind of split cannons as well. Shame the Cybertronian keys don't really need to do anything. Obviously we do get that matrix of leadership in there as well. Just look at that wingspan. So there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you all very much for taking the time out of your busy lives to watch my content. If you found the video useful, feel free to give it a big thumbs up, share, and of course subscribe. And until next time, for myself and the rest of the Collectables household, thank you all very much for watching. Goodbye.